Good morning, Rabbi. Say we are in the middle of the sugya of Maaris Ayin and how it affects business shilas. For example, the shilah that we had yesterday was, am I allowed to walk into a non-kosher restaurant with my business partner, with my business clients, in order to take them out to eat? I'm not going to eat anything, don't worry. But is that a shilah of Maaris Ayin? So that was the shilah that we started with yesterday. We started and touched upon the sugya of Maaris Ayin, which of course is very important, and learning these halachas is to know the sugya of what we're doing, because these halachas really apply for so many different situations. We're trying to home in on the business, aspect of things, of course, Shaya, right? But really and truly, it applies to so many different situations. So let me just go over a couple of things, what we said yesterday, very important, right? Aaron Gedalia, that the Maisa, Maaris Ayin means that I'm doing something that's 100% okay, halachically accepted, it's fine, I'm doing nothing wrong, I'm not being over on any isurim, right? Just, it looks to the onlooker as I am doing something not correct. That's really the shilah of Maaris Ayin. Okay? We spoke about yesterday the two different types of Maaris Ayin, the reason why it's also. Is it also because someone is going to think that I'm doing something also? Or is it also because they are going to think that it is actually permitted? Right? That's really the two different shilahs over there. And we ended off yesterday's share with one heter out of the three that I want to get to today. And then hopefully get to Halacha L'Maisa. So, the heter number one we gave yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, was the Pri Chodosh, right? We discussed the Pri Chodosh over yesterday? I think we did, right? We did the Pri Chodosh, right? The Pri Chodosh's heter is a murder heter. The Pri Chodosh wants to taina that, and by the way, there's a tshuva in Moshe very similar to this in different situations by Sakona. But according to the Pri Chodosh writes that you cannot extend what the Gemara said past what the Gemara said it on. So if the Gemara said this is Maaris Ayin, then that is Maaris Ayin. You cannot include other things and say, oh well, that's also Maaris Ayin. As I stated in Pri Chodosh, right? Got that? It's clear? So Memela, according to that, going to a restaurant wasn't mentioned in Chazal. Chazal never said that it's also to go to a non-kosher restaurant. You can't just come along and say your own Isurim called Maaris Ayin. That's the Pri Chodosh. We said that most Gedolei Achronim and Poskim do not paskin like the Pri Chodosh, so we can't really use that one as one of the heterim. Let's go to the next heter. Heter number two. Heter number two is basically a Ramah. And the Ramah says, Yeridei Simon Pei Zayin, the Ramah says that Maaris Ayin is only on a Doraisa. It's not on a Durabonon. What's the Raya? The Ramah says that there should be no problem with taking, for example, chicken, take schnitzel, and eat it together with almond milk. Now, almond milk looks very similar to milk, so the onlooker may assume that you're eating schnitzel and milk, which is a problem, right? Because that's basar v'cholav. However, right, Ben? It's only basar v'cholav midrabanan, as Rabbi Setz has been teaching for the last few months, right? This is basar v'cholav midrabanan. Why? Because it's chicken. It's oif. Oif and cholav is a drabanan. Memela zuk the Ramah on a drabanan. There's no problem of Maaris Ayin. Okay? That's how the Ramah wants to say, because it's only a drabanan. If it's only a drabanan, there's no problem with Maaris Ayin. However, the shach, the Taz, and many, many other Gedolei Achronim, as we know, Nasameya, right, are choylek on the Ramah. They're choylek on the Ramah and they hold, what do you mean? Everyone here knows the Gemara in Shabbos, Zev, Daf Nun, Daled Amud Beis, where the Gemara tells us in Masechta Shabbos that the way that they used to sell a cow, how do you sell a cow L'Maisa, right? So the idea is you took a cow and you took it into the market area and it had a bell, right? Anyone who's ever been to Switzerland or seen the videos of Switzerland, they've got bells around their necks and it's making a noise as it's going everywhere, right? So people were able to go and hear the noise of the cow coming. So they used to take the cow, used to put a bell, and they used to, people would, it's like an advertising basically way of saying, here, look at this cow, and everyone would want to buy it, how much does it cost, whatever. So the Gemara tells us that on Shabbos, you're not allowed to do that even if the bell is stuffed up. Like you stuff it up with tissues, Gedalia, so that it doesn't make a bell, it doesn't ring, nothing, there's no noise that comes out of it, but you're not allowed to do it because it's nearer, it looks like you're doing a shiloh business. Well, that's a Durabonon, says the Shach, says the Taz, from the Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Nun Daled. So that's the case, it's a Durabonon, and we find so many examples in Shas of how we find Maaris Ayin also even by a Durabonon. The Mela comes along the Shach, comes along the Taz, and choylek on the Ramah, and Maaris Ayin applies even by a Durabonon. So we can't really use that heter either then. So we haven't got the Pri Chodosh, we haven't got the Ramah by a Durabonon. What do we have? This is the last heter that we have left, right? Rav Padva Zatzal in Chesha Ve'efod in Chedek Beis brings down a tshuva And this is the third heter be'etzem. It's based on many tshuvas. There's a beautiful tshuva from Chacham Ovadia and Yechavadas also. The tshuva is based on something which becomes standard practice, something which becomes normal. So, for example, a parav schnitzel, or what Cheshev Rav Padva Paskins is talking about margarine. Margarine is parav butter. Parav butter will look to the onlooker like butter, and here you are smearing it onto your steak, which is meat mamish, which is mamish shayla even according to Ramah, Maaris Ayin. That since it's become so common to have such a thing called margarine, this other thing called parav butter, it's a normal thing, standard. Mimela, that will take it out the sugya of Maaris Ayin, which means that anything that becomes the standard practice, anything that's no longer suspicious, because it's known that there is such a thing called the parav schnitzel, it exists. Whether you want to eat it or not, Shimon, I don't know. That's a different shayla. But al koponim halacha l'maisa, it exists, and everyone knows in this country for sure. By the way, Eretz Yisrael, parav schnitzels is one of the most common lunches that people have. Parav hot dogs, parav schnitzel, it's a normal thing. And therefore, when you see a guy with a hot dog, that it looks sometimes a bit different, but even if it doesn't, you see a guy with it, you're not going to go, oh my gosh, because you know that it exists. If that's the case, maybe we could say that based on that, and by the way, that will be the heter, of course, to bake the cakes and stuff like that on Pesach using potato starch and all these sorts of things, even though it looks like flour, even though it looks like I'm baking something, because again, it's normal. Zuk Rapadva, once something becomes normal, then it is okay. So lefizeh, maybe we could say that any restaurant, if it's a normal thing to do, and people know that people don't do these sorts of things, maybe that would be theoretically a basis to allow one going into a restaurant in that case, because in today's world it's a normal thing that people do. People go into non-kosher restaurants with their business clients and they don't eat anything. It's not crazy to see someone doing such a thing. So there's a tshuva in Igus Moshe. Reb Moshe has a tshuva in Orach Chaim Chelik Beis Siman Mem, where Reb Moshe paskins lahachme. And Reb Moshe paskins halacha l'maisa that going into a treifa restaurant for business purposes, or for any purpose for that matter, is considered to be Maaris Ayin Vadai. He does say, however, that b'shas hadchak, right, if there's a huge financial loss, maybe for example, if a person doesn't show up at the meeting, who knows how much money he's going to lose, not how much he's not going to gain, but how much he's actually going to lose, a hefsed meruba, or b'shas hadchak situation. So Reb Moshe brings a raya from the Gemara in Ksubas. He brings 4 mahalchim that allow a person to go into a restaurant. 4 conditions that will allow a person, according to Reb Moshe, to walk into the treifa restaurant. Number 1, he says, if a person is completely famished, he is so hungry, he is so thirsty, and possibly he can't cope. Number 2, there is no other kosher other option that's available to him. Number 3, that even if we're starving, and even if there's no other option, be discreet about it. Try to do it privately, don't do full view of everyone. And number 4, that if there are people around that know who you are, or you know them, you should let them know, Rabbi Sai, I'm going in to get a bottle of water. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going in to get anything more than that. And therefore, contra Moshe, if you fulfill all of those 4 conditions, and it's a shas hatkak or hefson meruba, then there is a mokim to be makel for a person to do that. Otherwise, with Moshe paskins, that it will be a shaila of Maaris Ayin. Rav Asher Weiss Shlita Lamaisa paskins differently. Rav Asher Weiss wants the taina, and he basically wants to say that there should be no problem for a person to go into a non-kosher restaurant and of course only eat kosher food or don't eat anything, whatever it may be. That's a Dover Poshet Ad Moed. And he brings 2 reasons. Reason number 1, and this is why it's important we went through the Heterim originally, Rav Asher Weiss paskins that number 1, we could be saimach on the Pri Chodosh, that the Pri Chodosh holds that we're not going to extend the Issa past what the Gemara said, and the Gemara never talked about this. That's number 1. And reason number 2 is as well that he wants the taina based on heter number 3, since it's a normal thing for a person to do such a thing, that people generally do go to non-kosher restaurants with clients, with business partners, and they don't eat anything. It would not be a crazy thing for a person to assume, just like we have parav butter, and just like we have parav hot dogs and these sorts of things, mimela, we have non-kosher restaurants that a Fromer Yid is going into, and it's pretty obvious if a Fromer Yid is going to McDonald's, okay, obviously he's going in to use the bathroom, or he's going in to go and get a thing of water, because that's a normal thing to do in that case. However, we should know that even Rav Moshe, even Reb Moshe, who Lemaisa was machmeh, it was about 50 years ago that he got such a shaila. Maybe we could say, lo yodea, maybe we could say that if Reb Moshe would see what's going on with all the restaurants and how normal it is for people to do it, especially that location can make a difference. In other words, if I'm stopping at a gas station and the only bathroom in the gas station is in the non-kosher restaurant, there's no other bathroom at all that works, then everyone there is going to know that's why I'm going in. Because the location makes a difference. Memelo, it could be, again, I don't know, but it could be that according to Moshe, there'll be more of a mokum to be makel because it's more standard practice for people to do it, number one, and number two, because the location often can lend very much to the heta. So again, lechatchila, avada, we try not to be osik in these things and not to go to these places, especially because other things that may be going on over there, which maybe we'll discuss at a different time. But I'll go upon him, there is definitely a mokum, for sure, if a person is in a situation where he needs to do that, and there's no other kosher alternative, for sure there's a big mokum to be makel. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we shall be made to start a brand new sugya. Have a wonderful day.